Hey guys, John Morris with Integrity Training Systems here. Sorry it's taken so long to get these videos started. Today I'm going to be going over the basics of back with you. Obviously back is a very important part of the body from a bodybuilding perspective. You can use it from a weight loss perspective. It's going to be very important that your back is trained appropriately so that it can support the rest of your body. Two of the arguably most important parts of your body from a structural perspective are going to be the network of the legs and the network of the back. I like to start with the back because I feel personally like it is the most underworked part of the body. I constantly see people, especially when they're new to the gym, working their arms, working their chest, working their shoulders. Sometimes you'll see some leg work, cardio for sure, but very rarely do you see back work. And when you do, due to the intensity and difficulty of the knowledge of where things should be positioned, you don't see back done appropriately. So today I'm going to run you through a quick back workout. It's going to be just a couple movements, and I'm going to tell you how to superset those together to give yourself a short workout that you could do in the gym. Now, that being said, the importance of this is that your structure is in the right spot. Your spine has to be aligned right, your shoulders need to be aligned right, and your hips need to be aligned right. If you're trying to do this and you feel as though you cannot get into the positions that I'm telling you to get in, you're not feeling it in the muscles you're supposed to feel it in, or you're just plain not feeling like you're doing it right, then that's something you would want to get a hold of us for. We're going to check you for those muscular imbalances and tell you how to fix them. That's what our free assessment does. Now, to start, when you think about the lat pull down, this is a commonly done back exercise. You'll see bars like this. Confusing thing about bars like this is that they come in different sizes. So you'll see bars that are longer, bars that are shorter. Sometimes they have rubber, sometimes they don't. Depending upon what your gym has, they all do the same thing. It's just a matter of arm length at this point. So for someone like me, I'm about 6'4". I've got really long arms. Going out here at the end of this is going to be pretty close to the right length for me. However, this could even be a little bit long for me. So if you're a little bit shorter than I am, and you don't quite have the reach that I do, you're not going to want to go all the way outside on this super long bar. The reason for that is when you get to the bottom of the rep and you're trying to contract through your lat, you're not going to be able to because you're going to be catching due to a lack of mobility in your shoulders. It's just not physically feasible for you to be able to bring that any lower without your hands being in close enough to allow your shoulder caps to drop down and squeeze into the bottom of the lat. When you do a lat pull down, what you're looking for is at the bottom of the rep, you would like your elbows to be pointed at the floor, and you're gonna try to bring this as if you were trying to hit yourself in the collar notch. That's gonna be the groove where your collarbones come together just above your pecs, just under your chin, right in this range. Now, what you're gonna find is most people have some sort of mobility or forward shoulder postural issue. Those are the issues that we're going to address in the fitness assessment to help you to understand why you can't get to that position without A, the extreme lean, which you'll see people do, where they're almost turning this into a leaned row, B, the forward shoulder roll, where the shoulders come up and the elbows kick back, or C, something in between that just kind of turns into a half rep and never really gets the lower half of the lats engaged. What you need to do is focus on keeping your shoulder blades back, driving your elbows to the floor, making your caps follow your elbows, and squeezing more between your shoulder blades and at the bottom of your lats than worrying about necessarily where the bar is hitting you in the body. You have to have a mild lean back. That's what's going to prevent you from hitting yourself in the face, which you obviously don't want to do. However, you don't want to over-exaggerate that because you're not going to be able to squeeze the movement through the lats. Now, this is the first exercise, okay? The second exercise I'm going to have you do is a seated row. Most gyms that you're going to be attending are going to have these equipment in either the format you see that I have here at my gym, or they may be an individual piece of equipment that's interchangeable with this, okay? For a seated row, it's important that you stay perfectly upright, you drive through your heels to protect your low back, and you really focus on the fact that you're really trying to get the outside of your lats, their most external point, to contract to their connection point with the spine. This is called scapular contraction, which basically means you're trying to make your shoulder blades clap in the middle against your spine. When you go to pull the seated row, you do not want to just pull it like this and try to get into position. That's horrible for your lower lumbar and can create a low back issue. Make sure you get some type of footing, whether it be one or both feet. Try to get your back flat, then push yourself back, sliding into position. I have a light bend in my knees so that I can protect against hyperextension. I'm going to take my body perpendicular to the floor, almost to where I feel a stretch in my hamstrings, and then I'm going to contract my shoulder blades first, then draw this bar to my ribs, as if I was aiming for my belly button. You'll note that I'm driving my chest through and proud. I'm not just bringing it to my body. A couple cheats, things you're going to see people doing. They're going to load too heavy, or you may not even know what weight's appropriate for you, and you're going to find yourself leaned way back, almost like you're shrugging this up with your traps rather than using your back. Now don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for a little bit of a rock, okay? That's a whole different movement, and we'll talk about that further down the line. But right now, I'm talking about just staying lean back using your traps. That's a no-no. You don't want to be here. Second place you don't want to be is in a position where you have no structural integrity, where your back is rounded and you're bringing this thing to your stomach. Right now I'm doing this entire movement with my triceps and my shoulders. I'm getting nothing in my back here. And I'm putting strain on my lower back. So remember, chest up and proud, I'm pushing through my heels, and I'm going to bring this as far back to my stomach as I can while contracting between my shoulder blades and driving my chest through. You may find, due to your lack of mobility, that coming to your stomach is not possible without rounding over. Don't do it. Contract, reach your maximum contraction point, and return. That's movement number 2. Movement number 3 is a high row, also known as a face pull, and I'm sure there's 10,000 other words that people use to explain this movement. It's simply pulling some form of rope, cable, handle, chains we have toward the nose to get the rear delts and the rhomboids and the mid trap to engage. This is important posturally to help you stand up straighter, to get the top part of your back to engage and hold just as good as the lats and the mid back are with those 2 more primary movements. What we're going to do is we're going to grab a hold of this with our thumbs facing up. We're going to step back to create some initial tension in the stack. Chest is going to come through and proud. Shoulder blades are again going to contract first prior to the movement. And then I'm going to draw my hands back over my shoulder caps as if I was aiming for my nose with the little metal piece in the middle of the rope here. Now you'll notice that I'm keeping my torso over my hip bowl, that just being my hips in general. One of the cheats you're going to see for this is someone loading up and leaning way back and turning this almost into a standard row where they're aiming more for their body and they're arched so hard that they're actually using the gravitational pull of their body weight down to do the movement for them. Another cheat you'll see is the opposite of that, where you'll see the shoulders rolling high and bringing the face to the rope rather than the rope to the face. Both of those are going to create situations where you're going to be moving parts of your spine and creating flexion at the bottom that isn't going to be beneficial in the long run. You may create a pump or even feel fatigue in the muscles you're aiming for, but you're better off using a controllable weight and creating a situation where you're good in balance with your upper body over your hips and simply squeezing, again, between those upper heads of the shoulder blades while approaching the nose. Just like with the seated row, you may find that you lack the mobility to even make it to your nose or mouth, which is okay. You just squeeze the shoulder blades as far back as you can and come as far as you can without your shoulders having to roll to support it. This is our third movement. Our fourth and final movement is going to be done with dumbbells, which I have right over here. It's going to be done very light. It is another secondary movement. It's called a chicken wing. What a chicken wing is going to do is it's going to put me into a position where I'm able to use my mid traps, my lats, even my rhomboids, and a little bit of rear delt, supported by the bicep, to focus on scapular contraction, which is going to support good posture. I'm going to do that by getting in the middle of what looks like a bicep curl, and then from this position, elbows locked to my sides, open my hands outward while contracting between my shoulder blades. Now, as Debbie walks around me here, what you're going to see is that I'm able to actually get this back and in line with my body. I work very consistently on my mobility, and at one point in time was incapable of getting this past here. If that's you, do not roll your shoulders and take your elbows high and duck your head forward to increase the range of motion on this. Okay, that's going to be a cheat. That's going to put a lot of strain in your neck. The second thing I don't want you to do is get so heavy on your weights that you can't clear your belly button and you're down here real low, again, kicking those hands up at the end and creating almost a straight standing up rear delt fly, but instead placing that pressure in your traps and neck. Get a maintainable, controllable weight, be in the middle of the curl, and open this outward, bringing your body through. Just like that. Now, with those 4 movements, you're going to do them as a superset. The point of the superset in this specific exercise or this specific routine that I'm setting up for you is to give certain parts of the back rest while other parts of the back fire. However, we don't want to rest long enough that we lose our ability to keep a pump or lose our ability to continue to burn calories. So the point of the superset is so that your rest time is kind of your movement between these different exercises. If you're in a gym where it's busy, where you just don't want to get caught holding up too many pieces of equipment and you're afraid to say, can I work in with you on that? You can do all of your sets of the one movement back to back. However, you do want to provide yourself with ample rest time to ensure that you're maximizing the use of the muscle you're using. And by ample, I'm going to mean something between maybe 30 and 60 seconds. It's not going to be that 5-minute break for the sake of this specific routine. So to run you through all of it, put together like a superset and show you, I'm going to walk you back over to the lat pull down. For the sake of ease of what we're working on, a first time back workout for a new person, we're going to start on that lat pull down, and we're just going to do 10 reps across the board on all of these movements. So again, I'm going to grab a hold of my lat pull down. I'm going to take my seated position. I'm going to note that it's 346, and I'm going to start my lat pull downs. Now this weight would be too light for me if I was actually doing workout on my own. So what you'll notice is I get through all 10 with no problem, and I'm ready to move to my next exercise. When your rep count is 10, you want to be looking to fatigue and start really having to fight for them somewhere in the back 25% of that. Between 7 and 8 reps, you should be kind of more fighting for that rep. And 10, get out of there. Feel the pump in the back, feel the sweat start to happen. I'm going to move my next movement, which is my seated row, catching my breath in between because I did just work with a weight that did challenge me for that 10 reps. I'm going to put my feet up so that I know I'm protecting my low back, flatten it, scoot back, big proud chest, 10 reps. Again, this is not a weight that I would be using, so it's not going to fatigue me like it should, but if it would, as I approach 7, 8 here, 9, I know I'm fighting for it, and 10. Whew, good form, I set it down. I'm going to be fatigued after this movement, especially if I'm brand new to doing some type of weight work. As you stand up, catch your breath, make sure you're regulated, but do not give yourself enough time to cool down. The reason we're doing this is to change and adapt the muscle tissue, but also to burn calories. We don't want to create a situation where our heart rate gets so low that we're not still burning calories. Again, just for the sake of why we're doing this workout. Into my next movement, My chest is up and proud. My body is over my hip bowl. I'm going to aim for my 10 here. Again, looking for that fatigue around that 7th or 8th rep to where I'm not sure I want to do 2 or 3 more, but I know I have to. I'm going to get my 10 reps. And I'm going to move on to my dumbbells. Now, you could bring your dumbbells over to the cable system so that it would be quicker to just use them. I kind of like leaving the dumbbells on the other side of the gym or somewhere else if I'm trying to get some cardio in as well. Just walking between may give my back a little bit longer to rest. However, it's still going to challenge my lungs as I try to get back over to the next station. Kind of controls that time for you so you're not just standing there wondering if you've rested enough or if you've rested too long. Last movement here. I'm going to open my chest through, big and proud, looking for my 10 reps. Again, I should be getting to 7, 8, getting some fatigue here, getting through, 10, and I'm down. Now I'm going to give myself about a minute rest here to say I just completed a superset. If I check the clock, I've spent about 4 to 5 minutes doing this. And that's with a weight that, as I just showed you, is too easy for me. So if the weight's challenging you, you may be looking at about 7 minutes for a rotation of that. And then you're going to give yourself about a minute rest. That's approximately 8 minutes. If you do this superset 4 times, you're looking at about a 32 minute back workout. You can then couple that with the 15, 20, or 30 minutes you intended to spend on your piece of cardio equipment, which you can do before or after the workout. Now you've only been at the gym for an hour and you've successfully worked your heart, you've successfully worked your lungs, and a muscle group to maximize your caloric burn as well as start to change some structure. What I've showed you today is very simple movements of the back, and some things were left out just for the sake of not taking up too much time or overloading you with detailed information about the back itself. If you try these movements, or if you're already doing these movements and you're not feeling your lats engage, you're not feeling your back engage, your low back is bothering you, your neck is bothering you, or you're having any other issues, my suggestion is that you come see us for a free fitness assessment. The very first thing we do is take a full hour to show you why those things might not feel right. You could be thinking you're doing exactly what I told you. You're locking those shoulder blades back. That chest is up and proud. You're pulling to where you're supposed to be pulling. But if you have an imbalance or some type of muscular issue or structural issue preventing you from reaching or achieving that position, you can think it until you're blue in the face, but you're not going to be able to get the muscle there. We teach you how to change that, how to manipulate that, what movements are most appropriate for you. We go through the details of why your elbows aren't in the right place on the lat pull down and how to correct that. That's the purpose of what we do in the free fitness assessment. It's going to find those imbalances, it's going to find anything that's off with your structure, and it's going to find anything posturally deviated on you as well. Then from that point, if you decide that you'd like to do personal training, we can teach you more in depth how to do these workouts. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please know that I still intend to do a shoulder routine, a chest routine, and a leg routine, very similar to what we just did, just to give you guys some fuel to add to your fire when you're hopping in the gym and you're not really sure what to do other than cardio. If you're interested in that free fitness assessment, please give us a call at 636-299-2208. You can also check us out at integritytraininggroup.com or hit us up on Facebook and let us know if you have any questions there. If you have any questions about whatever I've gone over today, please post it in the comments below. And if there's anything else that you would like to see for future videos involving the shoulder, chest, and legs that I still intend to talk about, please let me know that as well. Again, if you find yourself interested in the assessment, that number is 636-299-2208. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you find this informational useful, and have a great day.